Yeah, we find her, the beautiful girl we've been missing. We wanna have her kissing. We find her, now we in love. Say go so, the remix.
DMB, Tuck Spice, remix.
Now if I had to lose you like a bad phone connection, I'd change my game to get a better reception. Sit back, let's start this interaction. Don't fight the feelings, just a chain reaction. Your heart won't give it the wrong instructions. Like my GPS, yes I got the right direction. We gotta merge together like a road intersection. Last stop is gonna be my love and affection. I ain't like the mother dudes, they wanna call you shorty, but I'ma call you a beautiful girl. I took your picture home, my mama saw it, she's a very, very beautiful girl. I wanna put you in my video, cause you're so beautiful. You're a beautiful girl. So when you hear us on your radio, turn up your stereo. It's beautiful girl.
Gotta find a shorty, what's worth of a lady. It's nice but maybe doesn't look like 40. It's taking a little time. I wasn't seeing no signs, any traces of my baby. Who's gonna be my baby? But I thought I'm gonna take my time within it took a long fine eye. I saw a shorty passing by. She's got this very pretty smile. It was right at the pen station. I tried to make a conversation, holding her arms, feeling so charmed. I felt the sensation. It's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Now I realize I found me a beautiful girl. She's a model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it by. Beautiful girl. Sparkling eyes, a killing thigh. I found me a beautiful girl.
My wish came true when I saw you, girl. God must have blessed me with your beauty, girl. Looking so right from your head to your toe. Shaped like a cocoa bottle with a smile of a queen. My queen to be, you my destiny. Got a body of a goddess, such a beauty, I'm impressed. And I'm never in distress. Come on over and be mine. Been searching for a man and now all the cats keep looking to mine. With a sexy walk and a sexy talk. She must be from a planet called the sexy world. I know I ain't tripping, better yet I'm thinking put a ring on the finger, we look good together. Take your place in my heart with your beauty, I'ma say that I'll never turn away. Who would think I'm in love?
Such the way she smiles at me just really makes me weak. The way she speaks to me just really make me go so weak. Keep staring in her eyebrows. All I kept on saying is wow. If you touch as a breeze at night, all I really want in my life. Oh yeah, it's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Fine brown eyes. I found me a beautiful girl. She's my model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it. Beautiful girl. Sparkling eyes, killing thigh. I found me a beautiful girl. Yeah, beautiful girl. What beautiful girl, yeah. Beautiful girl.
Damn. Money, you seen her? Hot Ice, have you seen her? LP, have you seen her? I'ma go over to Tux Bites. I know you've probably seen her. He has a lot of beautiful girls with him. Tux, it's DMB, baby. Look,
Beautiful.
I look for a while, but I can't seem to find a beautiful girl so I can make her mine. Time after time, I've been searching for a while, but every girl I meet never seems worthwhile. What can I do? I pray to God for an answer. I feel pains in my heart like cancer, and when I find her, I'm gonna romance her. Lace of her presents and gifts, call me Santa Claus. I make a heartbeat pause. That's my girl, homeboy, not yours. The girl of my dreams, she's more than I ever thought. Show me ass and culture, I think I'm getting punked. She's what I really want, so I'ma go get her. Since I'm a go getter, you know I'm gon' get her. And I will give her the world, anything for my beautiful girl.
Psych. Ooh, it's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Fine brown eyes. I found me a beautiful girl. She's my model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it. Beautiful girl. Sparkling eyes, killing thigh.
Man of prestige. Ha! Now this guy win. Now you win. Now you win today. Now you win. Now you win. I agree. Man of prestige. Now man you be.
I'm sure some people will be jealous now the way I talk about Ola. But I have learned a lot from him. That's why I keep telling you to follow him. If you don't follow Man of Prestige, now you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. What's going on? Welcome back to Man of Prestige. My name is Ola, coming to you live from my Empire Pro Studio. Shout out to my sponsors: Mo Fresh, Life with Natu, Adesua, Film Girl, Open Floor by Tima, Grace Corner, D Love 3000, Yes TV, and of course Chidima. Welcome. Thank you so much. The goal this month is $300, so shout out to everybody that has donated so far and that's watching the video, hitting the like button, sharing, subscribing, all of that. We're already up to $53.93 this month. Oh, not bad. Thank you so much. I appreciate your generosity always. All right, hit that like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so that you're notified whenever we go live. We come here to talk about life and relationships, and if you have enough time we'll talk about marriage, but really I think it's just about life and relationships, the skill set, self-power, social, how the seduction, attraction, and emotional intelligence. That's what we use. Okay, you can download the books for free. Okay, we have some free books at manofprestige.com. Number one red flag, get my marriage back. These are books you need to read regardless of where you are, what phase you are in life. All right, some of you, of course, coconut head, will not listen to me, but I'm here, I'm patient. I'll be here when you need it. Okay, but yeah, shout out to you all. I appreciate you for coming by. Shout out to Chidima, welcome. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Please like as you're coming in. All right, so we do have a couple of things we want to cover tonight, and then we'll touch on the main topic. All right, I will not be spending too much time here tonight. I just want us to kind of like warm up today, because today's what, Wednesday? But yeah, I'm kind of like coming into the week warming up. So bear with me, okay? Let me go ahead and share my screen. We do have some topics to cover today. Some stories in the news, some lessons and stuff like that. And then I will tackle the main topic, which is about feminism, why it might ruin your sons. As always, I always like to approach some of these topics from I try my best to approach from a empathetical standpoint, because it's not, I'm not previewed to everybody's experience. I can only speak from my standpoint, so I always leave room for that. All right, sorry about that. All right, so with that being said, the first story today, let's go ahead and dive in. And do me a favor, please. Oh, I need to get that up here. Please hit that like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified whenever we go live. Also help me use that like button to ping everybody else into the room. It's not our usual time, and also I've been away for a few days, so it takes a while for the algorithms to wake up. But that's why you always should check in with me. That's why you should be in the backstage so that you're notified personally by me. whatsapp.manofprestige.com is the backstage access. All right, without any further ado, let's go ahead and hit the first story. I'll be right back.
Your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Me love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.
All right, the first story we're covering today is Shawnee O'Neal. Shawnee O'Neal and SHAQ O'Neal. Well, it used to be Shawnee O'Neal, now Shawnee Anderson. She was kind of in the news last week, but not really. I think the husband was in the news for shutting somebody down in the name of Jesus. But that wasn't any story about relationship and marriage, so I kind of left it alone. But today, I think she's launching a new book. She's launching a memoir, okay, and she's made a statement, a very, very bold statement after moving on from her ex-husband for years. SHAQ O'Neal, the great SHAQ O'Neal, who is still part of the legacy of the Lakers legendary basketballer SHAQ O'Neal, right? So she says, I don't know if I was ever really in love with the man, according to Shade Room, but let me see if I can read a little bit more on this, okay? Let's see. Let's go to all right, so Shawnee Anderson, according to this Shade Room post, has a new husband, a new relationship with God, and a new book. Wait. With God and a new book. In a portion of her memoir, she opens up about her marriage to SHAQ, revealing that she's unsure if she was ever really in love with him. And I quote, looking back, I don't know that I was ever really in love with the man, but I was in love with the idea of being married to the man I had a family with. Anderson wrote, so they're calling her the new last name of her new husband, which is kind of nice and respectful to the new guy, right? The new guy, I think his name is Keon, something like that, right? And I think he's like 10 years younger than her, right? It doesn't matter. If you're happy, I'm happy. I was in love with the idea of building a life together. I truly did enjoy spending time with him. NBA road trips gave me a chance to be with my husband and experience the NBA life for a little while. While discussing their relationship, including SHAQ's infidelity, Shawnee acknowledged that SHAQ was trying to be the best father and husband he could be, while juggling fame, fortune, and the temptation of women. How could anyone possibly know how to do that, she said. Hold on a second. Can you hear me now? I probably have disappeared for a while. How long? What was the last thing you heard, by the way? Let me make sure I'm connected. Can you guys hear me by any chance? Can you hear me by any chance? What is going on with StreamYard? Okay, it looks like I'm fully back. That was weird. What was the last thing you heard? Let me know. If you heard anything, let me know. Can you guys hear me live? Yes? You can hear me? Did I skip? You can hear me. Thank you, Chidima. Did I skip by any chance at all? Something definitely went left for a second there. But anyway, if you can hear me, let me keep going. Awesome. So while juggling fame, fortune, and temptation of women, how could anyone? So it's kind of like interesting that she will say that, okay? And really what I wanted to highlight in all of this is take it easy on yourself. You know, oftentimes we're beating ourselves up. You're young, you have some experiences, you failed a couple of times, but you're still, it's early. You know, it's very, very early for you to conclude that the whole world is just terrible and devolving and gloomsday, and really what it comes down to is that you're not giving yourself enough chance to just learn and enjoy the ride. I know it can be tough. It depends on what we're talking about, and I might come off as easier said than done, but honestly, everybody has had their own fair share. Okay, and oftentimes you're just beating yourself up, right? Now these people my old internet is acting up. Let me see if I can come back in. You can hear me, but it looks like the whole thing. Let me see here. Everybody, can you hear me? You can hear me, but was I skipping? Am I skipping in and out? Because this is ridiculous. I'm not used to this. So my monitor is also acting up. So it's kind of hard. You lost me for a second, right? Okay. Do that. I am a little bit of a perfectionist, which is exactly what I'm accusing you of. Like, chill, relax. You're not alone. You can hear me now. I was skipping. Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me just make sure that nobody is okay. All right, cool. Welcome back. Let's hope everything goes well now. So it's essentially what I'm accusing you of. Like, just relax. You're a perfectionist. You had an idea of how you wanted your life to go, and it hasn't gone that way. If you're still breathing, it's a good opportunity for you just have a second chance, and that's a beautiful thing. And you have another chance to do things over with a better level of wisdom, more wisdom, experience, intelligence in sense you can think of it. But what I see, a lot of the doomsday, gloomsday type of stories out here, it's just people scared shitless, and they're projecting their fear on everybody else. It's just bad everywhere. Nigerian girls are terrible. Nigerian men are terrible. And when you do that, you're shooting yourself on the legs, because while you might be speaking from just your point of view, it becomes your reality. It becomes, you literally recreate that. No, literally, and I mean literally, scientifically recreating your outlook on life, your perspective on life. You're always looking for confirmation of what you already feel. And that's why we always ask you to keep an open mind. So they're in their 50s and they're feeling they've moved on, but she can speak in this manner. Now the headline says, I don't know if I was ever really in love with the man, but the key word phrase there is I don't know, right? She's comparing it to what she has right now, and she's not giving herself a pass either, but she's kind of giving him a pass, because she said, how could anyone possibly know how to do that when you're trying to juggle fame, fortune, and the temptation of women? She's giving him a pass, but she should also give herself a similar pass. That no, it's okay that she was also in love at that time. She's turning it to, I was in love with the idea. It's always in love with the whole idea of in love is a flaky thing. It's a on and off thing. It's up sometimes, it's down sometimes, just like human emotions, right? So if the lifestyle, everything around you made you feel like you were in love, you were effectively in love. It couldn't last because no condition is permanent. So every type of in love will not last anyway. All right. So, but I get what she's going at there. I just wanted to hear a little bit more of her giving herself so much more grace, because if you're in love, you're in love, even if you want to quote it as I was in love with the idea. You created the whole family. You were married to this man for 9 years. There were definitely moments where you felt like you were in love, and obviously there were moments that made you feel like you should divorce him, which is exactly what ended up happening. But let's see how SHAQ responded. SHAQ responded and he said, I understand. I wouldn't have been in love with me either. Wishing you all the best. All love, SHAQ. And then he goes, trust me, I get it. Yeah, they're on the same page. That's life, But oftentimes I just think a lot of people just beat themselves up, Oh, I actually left a comment. This is what peace looks like, folks. Practice it. Yep. He said that perfectly. Shout out to I forgot her stage name. She has a stage name. Miss Shonda Humo. Shout out to her. accepted with grace. One thing about SHAQ, he ain't gonna talk down on the mother of his children. I respect it. Plus, he actually meant that. He meant that. If you don't understand what it means to actually mean that, I pray that you get into that space in the future where you actually mean that. If you say this and you don't mean it and it's fake, you can't sustain it. You can't sustain it. This is the best response if there was ever one. I love that for him. I love SHAQ. He's not perfect, but he's a good dude. This is as perfect as human beings get. No one is perfect. So if there's anything called perfect, this is as perfect as it gets. Somebody say he hurt her, and he know he did. You see? This is your outlook. This is that person's outlook. This is how they see life. They're not wrong. It's just how they see life, right? If you are trying to get into a lifetime partnership with this person, you better shine your eyes. Okay? He hurt her, and he know he did. He understands how after leaving someone, you can reflect back and think you have a better understanding of how you felt. No, it actually doesn't have to be any of that. It can be as simple as, hey, that was just then, this is now. We're growing. Growth. It can actually vary. You need to simplify this for yourself. Life is complex as it is already. You need to simplify this so you can finally have the peace of mind that you badly crave. With all this rhetoric, obviously. Keep in mind, SHAQ said himself that she was a good woman to him. So leave that there. That's what he's supposed to say. And he needed to mean that as well. If a man said he never loved a woman who he had 3 kids with, you see where this is going already, right? This is the flip side of the gender war. The other person was on the other side. This person is on the other side, okay? If a man said he never loved a woman who he had 3 kids with, married and benefited off of her name his whole life, y'all would have called him a bum. Nice to read your comments, but this is speaking about the person who wrote this comment more so than SHAQ and SHAUNIE, and it's kind of sad. It's not that deep too though, okay? But I just want you to pay attention to some of these little things. These are the mindsets. These little things, as simple as they are, they reflect the creator, the author's mindset. My thing is, SHAQ has taken accountability numerous times. I don't know what else everybody's looking for. All right, so they've been trying to drag SHAQ, I guess. Let me go into the comments of our own page. Let's see. She created some buzz around this book just like she wanted. She's a marketing genius. Y'all believe that mess? All of it is true. 5 kids with a man you never really loved is insane. I think that's actually, like I said, it's more so of how she should have given herself grace. It's okay that she was in love with another man when she was in her 20s or 30s. I don't know what that was. Silence in the name of Jesus. That's terrible. That's what the present husband said last week. That's how they all feel when they fall in love again and they can't feel the whole love anymore. I agree with that. It's okay to just understand the nature of falling in and out of love. You're a human being. You have feelings, emotions. Like the rest of us, they go up and down. Okay? If you gather some skill set around that, you can now learn how to actually love another human being in a way that you can actually build a legacy. You can actually build a lifetime together, you know. But that's going to take some skills, and the skills is going to be a function of your experiences, knowing what it feels like to fall in and out of love. If you've never experienced falling in and out of love, you're not going to be able to comprehend what we're saying when we say you have to learn the skill. You will still be arguing with your destiny, essentially. Having 5 kids by a man you don't love is insane. We already talked about that. Okay. So NBA group. Anyway, that's that for now. I just wanted to cover that real quick. Let's warm up on this week. We're coming into a brand new week. Let's warm up. Do me a favor. Hit that like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications. Let's ping everybody else into the room. Let me know how you feel about that. What's your take on that? Was it a stretch to say I don't know if I was ever really in love with the man I was married to for 9 years, that she was married to for 9 years? She has grown kids with him now. They're a family. Was it a stretch, or That's just how she feels now, right? Does it matter at all? It doesn't matter, you know. But I think there was a big buzz around this during the course of today. It was trendy. So it's okay. Everybody should just rest. But it's okay to just understand that the in-love experience is for every one of us. It's going to be an up and down thing before it reaches, if you know what you're doing, it can reach what we call the escape velocity, where it starts going by itself. And you don't have to overwork yourself to stay in love with your wife ever again, you know. So yeah, Chidima said, why does she have to make it public is my issue. She's selling a book. She's selling a book right now. So it's a memoir. She's promoting a memoir. So it is what it is, you know. Anyway, like I said, hit the like button if you like this segment, you like the next one. So stay tuned.
It's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.
All right, welcome back. Let's talk about Tyrese. I think, let's see here. Tyrese always find a way to come into the news. This time around, we're talking about Tyrese and Brian McKnight. Brian McKnight has been busy for a few years now, dragging his children, you know, and by proxy, I guess his ex-wife. Okay, so you can see here. Let me show you. There you go. So you can see we covered this a few days ago. You know. Yep. Brian McKnight's Detroit. Oh, I haven't covered this yet. Anyway, just a few days ago, Brian McKnight's Detroit concert was cancelled due to the remarks. So we did another segment earlier on. You can find that on the channel, where he called his children, grown children now, they're in their 30s. He called them product of sins. You know, and it's kind of sad that, you know, such a man, a full-blown man that has had a history, legacy, a career of a lifetime, cannot find enough peace in himself to, I don't know, you know, I'm not judging him, but it's sad. Yeah, obviously I'm not judging him. It's sad that he's found himself in this position where he's had to drag his children, and he's been dragging them for a few years right now. So anyway, according to Bola Alert, Brian McKnight's Detroit concert was cancelled due to product of sin remarks. When you don't know how to control yourself, even if you have the right to not control yourself, listen carefully to what I just said. Even if you have the right, I'm not being condescending, it's the reality. Even if you have the right to lack self-control in public, because it's freedom of speech, right? Everybody else also has a right to shut you down. They also have a right to get rid of your product in the marketplace. They have the right to literally call all of your products product of sin. So fans in Detroit have taken a strong stance against Brian McKnight following disparaging remarks he made about his biological children. The artist concert scheduled for June 9th at the Motor City Casino Hotel was cancelled on May 3rd. The decision came in response to McKnight's controversial statement where he referred to his children from previous relationships, his children from a previous marriage. Don't get it twisted. He referred to them as product of sin and evil. The backlash began when McKnight, who is a part of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, made these remarks during a live social media session with fans. He specifically did not acknowledge his biological daughter, Brianna, calling her illegitimate. He must be really hurt really badly that he's trying to hurt his own kids. That's the only thing that makes sense. Okay, that's the only thing that makes sense. How bad did the mother of these kids hurt him? How bad did these children hurt Brian McKnight? Anyway, in a separate post, McKnight praised his stepdaughter Julia for graduating. That's stepdaughter, referring to her as his one and only daughter. This drew criticism since McKnight has several children, including Brian Jr. and Nico from his first marriage to Julie McKnight. Brianna from a previous relationship, and 2 stepchildren, Julia and Jack. He also has a toddler, Brian Kenyoa Makoa McKnight Jr., from his current marriage. McKnight defended Julia, saying she understands the scriptures and quoting Exodus 20:12, honor your father and your mother. Wait, defended Julia. Who is Julia again? Oh, okay, defended Julia. That's the stepdaughter. When the Detroit venue promoted McKnight's show on Facebook, fans expressed their disapproval. Comments ranged from "wouldn't even go for free" to "sir, absolutely not." Now, McKnight will continue to make money. His music still showed up on my stream today on Apple Music. I like Brian McKnight's music, but it's only a matter of time. I can't find R. Kelly's music anywhere, not on the streams either. Okay, so now maybe his scene is not as bad. Maybe it's actually disrespectful to compare him to R. Kelly, but I'm telling you, in reality, if you lack self-control literally means you might have been hurt, but you have some control, right? You hold your tongue back. Somebody has hurt you, triggered you, but in spite of, you chose because they go low, you chose to go high. Now, in your heart of hearts, God bless Tyrese's heart. You feel like, well, I'm going to go low and go to hell if they go low. And you feel like you're wiser than the rest of them. Well, the market is always right. They will tell you if you go too far, and that's what's going on here. But that was the original news. And I guess, whatchamacallit? I guess, what's his name? Ricky Smiley, comedian, made a comment that he was going to support. He said he was going to support. I'm trying to see the original post. Let me see if I can see the original post. He said he was going to support Brian McKnight's children, and Tyrese decided to chime in and basically, yeah, he decided to chime in on this and defend Brian McKnight, and it went left. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Where is it? Okay, I think this is it. Okay, this is it. Let's talk about this. This is Tyrese talking to Ricky Smiley. Okay. Is it playing? Oh, not playing yet. Sorry. Let's do it again. Sorry. Here we go. Let's do it again.
What I want to address
Sorry about that.
is I want to talk to my brother Ricky Smiley, and I want to say to you that it is unfair, in my grown man opinion, to say that that man and his ex-wife and the mother of his kids, which are now grown adults, past 30 years old, whatever their specific dynamic is, there's a bunch of things that have been said and done over the years that is nobody's business, that has contributed to where they are.
Now, before he continues, keep in mind, he said it's unfair. The goal here is apparently to justify Brian McKnight's behavior. Okay, so let's take this layers by layers. Okay. I think Brian McKnight already feels justified, which is why he's doing what he's doing.
Well, you're right.
Okay, he's right. But also the market has the right to respond how they respond. That's all I'm saying. See, it's people try to argue with me sometimes. And that's fair. Again, you're right.
Well, you're right.
Just like Brian McKnight has the right to discard and disown and illegitimize, is that the word, his 3 grown children in the social media space. The social media has the right to respond how they respond. Ricky Smiley has the right, which is what fairness is. Fairness, let's be fair. Let's be fair. Let's at least assign right and right where they belong. Right? Let's assign right here and right, and let's make sure it's equal and balanced. The issue is when we're now trying to assess what does balance mean. Did you factor in all the variables when you're determining balance, or did you discount emotions? Did you discount the fact that life is actually already fair? Right? Did you discount in the fact that we all get lucky and in different aspects of life, and some people are unfortunate? And you too, there are certain aspects of life where you've been unfortunate as much as you consider yourself lucky in other areas. Did you discount all? Like, there's about 200,000 different variables and factors to this. Did you discount any one of those factors before you call fairness? I'm guessing you're just looking at right and wrong only. If I have to help you choose between right and wrong, you're right.
Well, you're right.
You're right already. Okay? But Ricky Smiley is also right. Because like you said, in your grown man's opinion, well, he had his opinion. He's choosing to say, well, there's a certain standard per him that a man is supposed to show up even when you're kids. But now you are choosing to drag him to your own side. Right? He can also say, hey, you're not being fair. Can I have my own opinion? This is what happens when people are self-righteous. When you have a good man and a good woman, and I deserve everything in the world. I don't need any skills. Just because I'm good, I should deserve everything. This is where they fall straight in the bottom. That's what happens. I'm not going to argue with you. You're right. But please understand that everybody else's are also right. If you're going to move from a place of fairness when we're dealing with relationships, especially marriage, if you're going to tackle it from a place of fairness, don't be surprised if you lose, because there are other people that are also just as good as you are. What you don't have is power, because you're looking for fairness, because clearly you're stuck in victimhood. So everybody must be fair to you. And unfortunately, that's not how life works. This is a very competitive place. So if Brian McKnight has chosen to play this game the way he's playing it, it's fair that it's already fair. Stop asking for fairness in a world that's a war zone. In love and war, all is fair. Does that sound cold? I know. It's a cold world. It is, right? So, if it's nobody's business, why is Tyrese himself putting mouth and using words like fair? Thank you. That's the same thing I'm asking him. Is that not hypocritical already? Off the bat. Right? Righteousness and goodness straight in the poto. Exactly. Let's keep going.
This is not fair to say, well,
fair again.
They my kids, or they grown, they adults, and so I ain't gonna ever turn my back on my kids. I ain't gonna ever not provide or be there or support what I want to address or do whatever. Man, kids out here be saying some stuff, bruh. Kids out here be crossing you and doing and saying and going above and beyond to cross you. I do not know.
Guess what? Kids do. Guess what? They learned it. It's learned behavior. I'm not saying it's your fault, but these are learned behaviors. Okay? So should that be your fault? No, it's not your fault. You just know that that's another layer of issues in life you have to manage. You don't throw out the bath water with the baby just because kids are moving mad. First of all, they're not kids. How bad was it? They're no longer kids, right? So we kind of know it was really, really bad. obviously, before you can turn your back on your kids. It's really bad, and that's sad for him. So I will not judge him, but please don't judge anybody who says, you know what, I'm going to be there for those kids. That's how they're interpreting it. Since you want to play fairness, you should be fair to those people too on how they react. You should be fair to the people in Detroit that cancel the show too. That would be all the way fair, right? Don't play the hypocrite. It's wrong. Now that's wrong.
What that man and that woman or his kids or anything about anything. Like, I literally know Brian.
And
I have not had one conversation with Brian McKnight about his wife, his kids, or anything that went down.
but you come to social media to have it with us?
Nothing juju be that.
Them, nor is it my business, nor is it
Really?
my place to ask him, what happened, man? What's going on? This and that. None of my business. What I am addressing and talking about is I feel like it is not fair to act as if relationships between men and their children that at some point become adults can't fall apart, can't become extremely volatile and toxic. Listen, man, I know dudes that are in jail or do whatever. Man, kids are hell for getting in full-on fights with their kids who grow up, who think they can talk to them and treat them any kind of way, stealing money, flirting with their girl or their wife inappropriately while they're in new relationships, crossing the line, doing all kind of
Okay.
that can make the dynamic between
This happens in every family.
you.
Every
and
family
your
has its own
daughter or
dysfunction.
your son.
But if you're one out of 200 men that will jump out on the internet and drag your own kids in their 30s, that's not fair to you, I know, but that's sad. Can you at least agree that that's a very, very sad situation? Right? That's a very sad situation. I don't know what happened between him and his kids. I don't know if they try to take him out at night or something. I don't know. Right? But we're not going to sit around and act like that's normal. Like, stop the cap.
Completely off limits. Let's go even further.
I'm looking at the long
And I
thesis
know
by
a thing or
Tyrese
two,
doing
So
Shalaye.
consider me a professional.
This man
in
is
this
going to
department.
Shalaye Tired.
I want you guys to Google these words that a lot of you guys have never heard of. All the therapists, all of the psychiatrists, especially all of the family law attorneys.
Welcome, Luremi.
Please chime in. Parenting alienation.
And what's that?
Google it.
What is it? Tell us.
Enmeshment.
I bet he's about to tell us. Yeah, tell us, Tyrese. Come on, go for it.
When kids hell for getting in full-on fights with their kids who grow up, who think they can talk to them and treat them any kind of way, stealing money, flirting with their girl or their wife,
Flirting with their wife
while they're in new relationships.
Wait, are you trying to tell us? Is he telling us what happened? Did this kid trying to flirt with Brian McKnight's wife or something? Let's keep going.
Crossing the line, doing all kind of that can make the dynamic between you and your daughter or your son.
Damn, all I want to do is hear Tyrese sing, man, I swear. Just sing, bro. Just sing. Oh my God. Just sing, man. Jesus Christ.
Completely.
An act.
Off limits. Let's go even further. And
Wait,
I know a thing.
there's more?
So consider me a professional in this department. I want you guys to Google these words that a lot of you guys have never heard.
Which one? Again?
All the
Is it repeating
therapists,
itself?
All of the psychiatrists, especially all of the family law attorneys, please chime in. Parenting alienation
No.
for young adults or even grown folks are enmeshed, and there is parenting alienation between the man trying to alienate the child or children from the mother, or the mother brainwashing, poisoning, or trying.
He's just trying to do the balance. This is why I told you that balance is a terrible idea. Not all the time, but sometimes. The problem is that when people are trying to balance, they are only zoned in on their own factors, the only factors they're privy to. right? They are right and wrong factors. That's what they're trying to balance. They're not considering the other 2,000 factors that goes into. See, you just try to play that balance thing. Some of you saw me in the back, so I said I think balance is a terrible idea because of these reasons. Okay, he just tried to play the balance thing, and we can see through the bullshit now. Can you not see? You know, and when the child alienate the father tried to alienate and then he went to really what he's trying to say. Bruh, we can see through the bullshit, okay? And for all y'all that's Tyrese is out there, if you don't heal, we can smell it. Human beings are spiritual. We have incredible radar for bullshit. We might not be able to put our fingers on it, but you better take care of yourself because people will alienate themselves from you if you keep moving that way. They won't know why, they just know that something is off. It just won't be right, you know.
Trying to
balance,
brainwash and alienate the kids or the adults from the father.
Balance in the poto, that's what he's trying to say.
That is a real thing. When you are enmeshed, which again tells about the cheating or infidelity or the physical, emotional, psychological abuse, they're going on and going into specific details with the child or children because they do not understand the line between being a specific parent. A father and a mother is not friends with a child. You can develop.
That's another talking point that people bring up that really doesn't hold any weight. You cannot be friends with your kids. Like one has to be mutually exclusive from the other. Like, come on, stop it. You can parent and you don't, if you have to spell out badly, so badly that you're not friends with your kids, you have deeper issues. Okay? You have deeper issues because like I keep telling you, a lot of these issues are driven by feelings and emotions. Tell us the rest of the story. What is it that's driving this emotion we're looking at? That you badly don't want to be friends with your own children. Tell us what else is going on. Because it's not about the semantics of that. There's something else you're trying to tell us. There's something else. You need self-check, self-reflect, right? What else happened? Does the kids feel like you were absent? Even if you don't feel you were absent, are you patient enough to address those kind of things without judging yourself, without taking it personally that your kids feel a certain type of way? And they say, well, these kids are terrible, they are bad. Well, you're put in a position of test. Your kids are so bad, they're calling you out of your name. Listen, it could be, even if it was me, I'll be triggered. But God help me. I don't want to end up in a space where I have to now shalaye to the rest of the world that kids are not my friend. The issues will be deeper at that point in time.
Develop a friendship with your child or children, but that is not your friend. That is your son.
Oh, it's not friendship.
That is your daughter. Not to ever have the roles or the dynamics of the roles to ever be crossed or blurred. You can't go out tonight. Why I can't go out tonight? I'm blah.
If your kids say that to you, there are deeper issues. If you say you can't go out tonight, your kids say, why I can't go, and they start yelling, the issues are deeper than that moment. And let me guess, you lack the patience to see that as well. So you overreact too, and now you already say, we're not friends, we're in a friendship. You go shalaye tired because they don't really care. You call it friendship, relationship, friendship, back end enemy. That child feels like you're the enemy at that point in time.
You go explain because no evidence.
Is it your fault? I never said that. Who's talking about fault and who's to blame? See, that's the problem. You're always looking for someone to blame. Always. You're looking for the next best thing to blame. How about just calm down? Okay, relax. What if we don't have to blame anybody? What if we could just back off and try to understand what's going on from an emotional standpoint? What if that is a big deal that you actually need to sort out? Eventually, either you skip it now or you do it later. It's up to you. But somehow, some way, you're going to need some kind of closure in that arena where it's not about judging. It's about understanding. Let's keep going. Tyrese is going at it. These are the mindsets. This mindset They are similar. They create the same result always. Right? We can shape it back and forth. You can say you're telling the truth, and however way you want, you can, or anyone. It's just the truth. Sure, you're right. Now let's talk about the results that is being created. If it's good, keep doing what you're doing. If it's not good, there's problems. You need to reassess. You need to reassess what's going on. But if your child got into a place where they say, why am I not going out? Have you been paying attention? That child fell out of the sky is acting like that overnight? I don't think so. The same issues in marriage and relationships, the same issues. Okay?
We all know what it is. And if we have never experienced disrespectful men, kids, today's kids are out of their minds. Tells about the cheating or infidelity or the physical, emotional.
I just want to say to Brian McKnight, kids.
Okay, so this is the comment that Ricky Smiley, I'm watching this for the first time. I just watched one slide of Tyrese and I was like, okay, I got to put this in the backlog. So where we are, I'm watching this for the first time. Let's see what Ricky Smiley said so badly that triggered Tyrese to take sides in something he really didn't want to chime in, but he decided to chime in, and he's never spoken to Brian ever before, but he decided to speak to us about this. Let's see what is it that triggered him so badly. Let's see.
To all of his kids, the ones that he said that's born out of evil or born in evil, whatever he said, whatever he claims, or whatever, let you know that you have a lot of support out here. We here at the Ricky Smiley Morning Show support you. If anybody get this message out to Brian McKnight, 2 sons and daughter, you are always welcome to the state of Alabama, to the great state of Alabama, where you have men and you have uncles and you have a lot of people in Birmingham that take on kids that have been abandoned by fathers. I've seen a lot of it, even with watching Little League football coaches that spend their own time, money, and resources into trying to make sure that the kids have it. I just want to say to Brian McKnight, kids, everything they need, but I know that y'all are older. But if y'all ever feel any kind of way, or you feel unloved and need male figure, father figure, there's people out here like myself, and I know I can vouch for my brother from another mother, Ben Crump and others. We would be more than happy to have you. You are not thrown away. You are not garbage. You are loved. You are to be respected. And there's a lot of group of men out here waiting to stand with you and make sure you have everything that you need. We are not here to try to replace your father, which that can't be done, but we can be something to you. To just make sure you go on into your adulthood and live your life and get you the help and therapy that you need so that you can move on, because words hurt and stuff like this hurt everything they need. But I know that y'all are older. But if y'all ever feel any kind of way, or you feel like when when things like this are said, it's a bell that cannot be unrung. So if anybody know Brian McKnight, kids, sons, and daughter, we really celebrate dads where I live. And in my household, we had over years and years and years have raised kids that don't have a dad, or dad got killed, or just, hey, I don't want to be a dad, or whatever. That's what we do. We are some of the best father figures and uncles and anything you need. So just to let y'all know, just put that out there. I'm not here to, we already tackled that part, talking about what he did, but I don't want to do that, talk about that and offering something to them in when in the same video.
Same breath.
I just want to say to the kids, stay prayed up, stay close to God, and understand.
He was trying to be respectful to Brian McKnight at the same time too.
He's all of our real daddy. He's our daddy's daddy and our granddaddy's real daddy.
We serve an awesome God that will see you through anything, and that will see that that you will supply all your needs. He's a heart fixer, and he's a mind regulator. And I know he's a mind regulator because there's been days where I feel like I was going crazy, and he get my mind right back on track. So just continue to love God and continue to trust God and lean on him for everything that you don't understand. And don't even try to understand, just lean on him, get therapy, and just try to make sure that when you have your kids, that you are the total opposite of what you have experienced in the same video. So we just want to say to the kids, stay prayed up, stay close.
So lastly this week, I want to big up my man right here. See, he gets it. In order to live a life that you love, you have to get rid of the evil. And
This is Brian McKnight. This is what he said before. This is what's creating all of this.
the negativity, even if that evil and negativity is related.
He's sitting in the Rolls Royce saying this.
We want everyone to live a life
He's earned it. It's Brian McKnight.
that you love. Our hashtag, that's what it means. Hashtag I love our life. But in order to do that, you have to get rid of all that evil and negativity.
You also have to get rid of all the people that support you because you show up a certain way in public, but once you start kicking against that, they also have the right to kick against you.
So many angry and upset and negative people out there. We want to use our...
So all the people that's telling like, get with your kids, he's calling them negative, okay? So he's a guy who has never had respect for anything outside of himself. That's just what that is, you know. Or at least it's in that space right now. And it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad because that's not what his music personify. You can see Tyrese here still doing shalaye. That's cool. Attack me. Come at me. Accuse me of bought myself and into somebody else's business. Accuse me of butting myself into somebody else's business, because that's exactly what you're saying. I was actually triggered by this comment that Ricky Smiley made, because I'll say, we know that you were triggered, exactly. Because I'll say it again, when someone disrespects you, cross you, takes advantage of you, takes your kindness for weakness, and they go above and beyond to disrespect your new husband or your new wife or your new significant other, and this is not with Brian McKnight kids, don't know anything about the details of his first lady, Mrs. McKnight, or his actual adult kids, nor is it none of my business. I know it takes a village, but it's very easy to stand with and support somebody else's kids. No, he was very clear. It's just bad. Listen, like I always say, every action is a reaction. Your actions are actions you're responsible for. Yes, he might have been reacting to other things, but there's a reason why you're a man. All right, that's a big deal. You're a king. That's a whole big deal. You move mad, you can literally get the whole village wiped out. No, so we can't afford. They say, what about me too? Nice. Seek support from the right avenues, not in public. You don't go out into public and call your children evil or product of sin. If you do that, I feel for you, because something is wrong somewhere, clearly. But no, we're not going to pretend like all is well and it's just another normal day, it's just another dysfunctional family. No, every family has the dysfunction, but this one, there's an extreme situation going on here, and you can see he's getting counseled because of that. Okay, can you look at that and say something is off, or are you just going to be like, well, that's how they cancel people every time? Well, that's the world you live in. You're getting counseled if you don't have any self-control. It is what it is, okay? So Tyrese has no details, but he's talking more than McKnight. Exactly.
Halfway.
Exactly. But that's where we are. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts are about this. Honestly, it's just something I want us to keep covering, because it allows me to also extract some of these lessons. Fathers are very, very important for these reasons. Okay, this is literally me saying fathers are very, very important. Okay, fathers need to take care of themselves so they don't end up in this space, because you know there's the issue of fathers are not being celebrated enough, right? Excuse me. There's the issue of fathers not being celebrated enough, and but that's another conversation that we can also have. But when you have a Brian McKnight, but you can see how Ricky Smiley is showing up there. You know, I think Ricky Smiley, not too long ago, maybe less than a year ago, or maybe even less than 2 years ago, lost his grown son. So who knows why he's doing this? He lost his grown son, like a full-blown grown son, who has his own child. So maybe that's one of the things that's triggered him. Everybody's triggered left and right. But hey, when the public is reacting how they react, please don't remember that before you start saying somebody's not being fair, or you got shut down, or you got silenced, you can't talk in public, blah, blah. Listen, social intelligence, social skills has always been part of our society. The most powerful people in the world knew this. So engage your own power. Embrace the idea that you are learning for the first time. The likes of Kanye West, they went down. Andrew Tate, they went down. Emeka Ike, down. You know, unfortunately, you don't have the luxury of running your mouth anyhow. It's always been that way. Okay, you have to apply wisdom if you're going to say anything, particularly because I know you've been hurt too. Like, you know, you've gone through some stuff. Obìnrin has shown you shege. Your children might have shown you shege. And you have every right to act mad in this public space.
Well, you're right.
But the public also have the right to react how they react. Power. Victim power. Choose one. Okay. Yeah, I appreciate Ricky Smiley. Chidima says, I appreciate Ricky Smiley speaking life into those kids, and all kids dealing with rejection and abandonment. Also, kudos to all good dads out there putting in the work. We see and love you. Thank you so much for that. That goes a long way. That goes a long way. All right, so do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications. Let me know what your thoughts are about this, and check out the next segment. I'll see you in a second.
It's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.
All right, welcome back. This I think we should watch this video. How's this? There you go. Let's watch one more video and then we'll talk about the main topic real quick. Here we are. Boom. All right.
I don't have one. It's been 3.
Let's try that again. One more time. Rerun.
To hear that you're a deadbeat. What's your relationship with your kids right now?
I don't have one. It's been three and a half years.
So what we're looking at is this guy is a comedian, Gary Owen, comedian with black audience, Gary Owen, and he had a very public fallout of his family over the last. He was married to a black woman, I think she's African American woman, and had a nasty fallout over the past few years. And Club Shay Shannon Sharp is asking him what's the relationship with his kids. Okay, again, we're talking about fathers now. Funny enough, I didn't plan this. It just so happened to be that way. But let's try it again.
To hear that you're a deadbeat. What's your relationship with your kids right now?
I don't have one. It's been three and a half years.
Really?
Yeah.
How hard is that for you?
What do you think? It's a nightmare. It's like they're my greatest accomplishments and my greatest failure at the same time. But to see how it's just crashed and burned since the divorce, and this is all since the divorce.
Do you believe she played a role in the divide with your kids?
I'll say I'll take the blame because I didn't ensure that my relationship with them was so strong that no matter what anybody said to them, they could be like, nah, my dad's good. So, I was gone a lot.
Right.
I'm on the road.
Right.
And that's part of the, but I really don't know. I don't want to throw stones and stuff I don't know. I don't know if she's at the house saying your dad ain't I don't know. I mean, I do know blasting me on social media didn't help. Mm-hmm. And then other shit happened we'll get into in a little bit. I just don't know where it got so bad. Right. You know what I mean? That I'm just literally the worst human being on the planet. And it's funny, I ran into my ex last week. We was on a plane. We were on a plane from Atlanta to Cincinnati.
Come on, Gary.
I ain't got nowhere to lie now. I just said I cheated. That's been the freaking elephant in the room. So I got nothing to hide anymore. So I'm sitting there and I sit on the plane. I go, ain't no way this is happening. Ain't no way this is happening.
That's what I'm saying.
I went like, I mean, I was in the window like.
You like a kid. You like a kid looking out the window.
Yeah, that's my bag. So she didn't see me when she got on the plane. We go to baggage claim. She sees me. She comes up. We start talking, asking her like, how do we get this right with the kids? And then I keep telling her like, look, when they call, I'm there. Mm-hmm. I don't care if I got to show them, cancel it. The minute they say, Dad, I'm ready to talk, I'm out.
Right.
I'll go to where they're at. So when I talked to her about the kids, I told her, I said, I wish you would
help
just
facilitate
say it's time. It's time, because they do listen to you.
Yes.
Enough.
Mm-hmm.
There's no abuse here. There's no mental abuse. There's no physical abuse. They had a great childhood.
Yes.
Great. Private school, paid for my daughter's college. I mean, just stuff you're supposed to do if you have it as a dad.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm just like, I don't know how I became this evil human being that they want nothing to do with. I was like, I'm not perfect. I read somewhere that somebody said, when you go through the divorce, when kids are little, they idolize their dad. Mm-hmm. And then when divorce happens, they demonize them. And then as time goes by, they humanize them. Mm-hmm. Clearly, I'm in the demon stage right now. But it's just been so long that I got to sneak around to try to just lay eyes on them. Like when the Bengals went to the Super Bowl, right? Mm-hmm. I got tickets. So I texted both of them because when I call, they won't answer. So I got a text. And sometimes they respond, sometimes they don't. So I was like, I got tickets. I got 4. You guys want to go? And they was both like, no. So
Jesus.
Like, dang. And then
that's it. Just no, not love with Dad. I had other plans. I got other arrangements.
I ain't gonna say what they said, but it wasn't pretty. And then I said, I flew to Greensboro, where my daughter was in school, and knocked on her door, and she wouldn't answer the door. Jesus. And then my ex ended up calling and was like, my road manager was with me. She didn't know he was with me. She called my road manager, and she was like, "Why is he at the door? Why is he at the door?"
So she's looking at the door to see.
No. She called.
My daughter called.
The daughter
That's
called.
what I'm saying.
So she's like, why is he at the door?
Yes.
And he's like, he's just trying to see her. She goes, no, it's not time. She's not ready. She said, write a letter and put it in the mail. I go,
huh?
What? People still write letters?
This ain't 1985.
Write letter.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
Jesus.
That happened. Then I found out she was flying. I found out one of her flights one time. I ran in her at the airport, and I was like, I kept my distance. I didn't run up on her. And I waved, and she waved back. And I was like, oh, want to have a shot here? And then she dipped in the bathroom. And at 45 minutes, I waited, and she never came out. And I just went, so I left.
Yeah.
And then when I went to her graduation, they made it very clear, don't come up, don't talk to her, don't
Jesus.
or nothing like that. I was like, so I don't know how. At this point, I don't know how to reconcile the relationship. I'm just letting them know that I love them, I'm proud of them, and whenever they call, I don't care where I'm at, I'm there. I've told them, I said, you want to go to Hawaii? You want to go to Dubai? Where do you want to go? Because we can go. We can go somewhere so far away and just sit down and have it out. So I literally don't know what to do at this point.
To hear that you're a deadbeat, what's your relationship with your kid?
Man, that was rough. All right, so the court says, I'll take the blame. I didn't ensure that my relationship with them was so strong that no matter what anybody said to them, they can't be like, nah, my dad is good. I just don't know where it got so bad that I'm just the worst human being on the planet. Obviously, I'm not perfect. At this point, I don't know how to reconcile the relationship. I'm just letting them know that I love them, I'm proud of them, and whenever they call, I'm there. Damn, that's sad. One thing I constantly see, another comment here say, one thing I constantly see people say is cheating does not have anything to do with the man being a father. Please stop saying that. That is absolutely false. When you cheat on your wife and children's mother, it impacts your children negatively in a bunch of different ways, and that absolutely damages how they see you as a father. You cannot just draw some imaginary line and separate the two. Cheating does not mean you're a bad person, but it is absurd to say it has nothing to do with your performance as a father. Being a father and a husband are joined at the hip. I hate when people say that too. oh, he's such a good father, but he's such a good husband. Like, what does that even mean? Like, what's the point of making that point? I'm confused. Right? Someone said, and he still paid for college, although daughter said she wanted nothing to do with him. Children should not be involved in parent situation. Once life start lifing, is these kids as adults, they will understand more. Sure, but the time is going to be gone for you too, right? And also, yeah, there's going to be enough people that will remind you that he's paying because he's supposed to pay. I don't know. Children should not be involved in parents. They are. Should not is a fantasy. They are involved in their parents' situation, directly or indirectly, at least. Someone said, let's be clear. When you cheat, it's a ripple effect. It just doesn't. So I didn't get the memo. I guess he cheated. Okay, I'm getting the memo now that he cheated. It just doesn't affect the spouse, but the children as well. How bad was cheating? Was it like exposed? Was he embarrassed? Did he embarrass the family or something? Also, it's okay they choose to forgive and not forgive him also. Just because you take accountability for situations you caused doesn't mean it's fixed. It may never be. Go to therapy. That's a good point. That's actually a good point. Gary felt what it's like dealing with a scorned black woman. Shay, it's sad. Black woman getting dragged in the potter. How did I know this was coming? It's sad so many mothers do this. No matter how good a father is, if the father doesn't want her and she knows he loves his kids, she tries to hurt him with his kids. Your father don't love you. He doesn't call. He has another family. Unfortunately, karma bites many mothers when the kids get grown. That's a fantasy. Unfortunately, that's your fantasy, that woman sat down there and was basically brainwashing the kids. That your fantasy is essentially what you would die with. And you would never have a relationship with your kids because it's a vicious cycle. It's a story you told yourself and it feels true. So you keep telling yourself, the reality is far from it, you know. The reality is that she was living in front of those kids and those kids know more than you realize most of the times, you know. But let's keep going. Let's continue with that, down that fantasy lane. Unfortunately, karma bites many mothers when the kids get grown. It comes in the form of them never being happy, or in many cases the kids end up finding out the truth and ends up hating both parents. That's a fantasy. Okay, of course there are some exceptions. There's some stories out there like that, but the idea that that's just what's gonna happen is you're fantasizing. Okay, the father because they felt like he could have done more, and the mother for all the lies she told about the man literally just admitted that it was gone a lot. Was that his fault? No. That's why I don't think it's necessary for him to blame himself. You could just see that and acknowledge it. I was gone a lot. Blaming yourself is another angle entirely. Because people's like, what's wrong with blame? Like, because that blame thing that creeps into your brain is its source. That source is dirty. Okay, that source is dirty when it comes to relationships. It's just dirty. Okay, it's basically a source that thinks as everything as black and white, and it doesn't work in relationships. Okay, what works in relationship is acknowledgement, people feeling valid, people feeling validated, people feeling seen, people feeling is a common denominator in all of that. It doesn't have to be the reality, and oftentimes all you have to do is calm down, stop blaming yourself, just acknowledge. That goes a long way. Okay, and when you acknowledge, make it okay enough for you. Stop putting expectation on the other person, because they will take their time. The more you focus on blame, the longer it's going to take them. Potentially never. If that's a lot hard for you to comprehend, stay plugged in. There's going to be more than enough examples. Okay, this is an example here. I like that it's acknowledging that it wasn't there. I blame myself part. I'm nitpicking his words, but I would just, there's no need, because that also self-guilt, it shows up in the way you present, you know. The kids don't want you to try to fix anything right now. They don't want that. They want to take their time, right? That time, what should you be doing? Work on yourself, go to therapy, work on yourself, and be prepared for an opportunity to showcase your new self. If that ever presents itself again, but be at peace with yourself. No one is perfect. He said that. That's accurate. But Unfortunate situations happen to good people in life. That's just what it is, you know. But I'm looking at these comments, I'm like, no wonder some of these people are in problem. I wish the mothers put the kids first most time and do what's best for the kids. Many say they do, but honestly they don't. The deadbeat dads don't ever go through this, but the good fathers do, you see. It's predictable. It's the person who think they are good. Are you seeing these patterns? I mean, it's just me. You can see where they're going. They think it's just good enough to be good. This is a real word. It's not. Sorry. I'm sorry. So what kind of the word become is always being exactly like that. You just haven't paid attention. That's all. Okay. Meanwhile, the kids are always hurting. No one wins when family feuds. Okay. At least he said one thing that's correct. He said one thing that's correct. Olurami said they all need therapy to talk it out. They don't want to talk. These kids don't even want to talk. He needs therapy. He's the one talking. I'm focused on him. He's the one doing the talking right now, and we're going by what he said. But he's the one doing the talking. He needs therapy. He needs wise counsel. All right. Wow, this man is making effort and showing up everywhere, but it seems the poison is deep. I appreciate him for recognizing he created a gap that was then filled with brainwashing. If he seek wise counsel, one of the first things they will tell him to not do is show up everywhere. Don't show up. Don't just show up. That's called ambush. You ever heard of the word ambush? That's why the mother is like, why are you there? Because the daughter is calling, like he's at the door. For whatever reason, they don't have a relationship with him. He's acknowledged that. I don't know if you were able to read between the lines. They don't feel like they have a relationship with him, or they are just straight mad people. It's one of the two, right? I doubt that two people can just be mad at the same time. Yesterday, my 3 brake lights went out. Like, you know, the brake light, red, and then it went out, right? So I stopped by the mechanic and said, hey, you know, can you change my bulb? It's like all 3 went out. He said the odds that all 3 went out at the same time is almost none. But let me check the fuses and make sure that it's not one of the fuses that are burnt. That's how life works too. Lo and behold, all 3 actually went out. So there are exceptions. Both of them can be mad at the same time. She raised mad people and she coached them to just go against their father. How is that possible if you have a relationship with your father? At what age? College kids? Hey, let's think about this deep enough. Okay, let's think about it. Now, like I just acknowledged, it's possible that these kids are just mad because their mother made them mad. What are the chances? Almost none. Everybody that their child is with the other person when they divorce accuses the other person of teaching their kids against them. Do you not see the pattern? It's everywhere. Everybody accuses their children of that. That's a signal that there might be some lies to that. Not intentional lies. That there's something else behind that. There's additional level of truth behind that we need to pay attention to. That's what I mean. Okay. Is it possible? Yes. There's some exceptions where it's possible that she just sat down there and just say, hey, by the way, your mother is a bad mother. Really? All right. Just some thoughts, food for thoughts. His kids are grown. They are unhappy with him. That's what I'm thinking. That's what it sounds like. You know, new member. Who did member? I didn't see member. Who turned new member? Who's a member? Oh, he's just showing us member. I showing new member on my page. Sorry. Wow, this man is making. Okay, we already covered that. Okay, so there was an error on YouTube, I guess, or StreamYard. Shout out to Brother Ben. Brother Ben, how are you? In other words, a man can't do the right thing. This is why some dads choose to stay the F away after divorce. What's the right thing? What do you mean by the right thing? Anyway.
You're right.
You're right. Remember? You will get it with time. No worries, okay? If he shows up and kids misbehave, he has to go to therapy. He needs to seek wise counsel. Okay? You don't ambush people. They don't have relationship with you. You got to think beyond right and wrong, Brother Ben. You keep falling into it. The right thing is not enough. Being a good person is not enough. It's never been enough since the beginning of mankind. Have you not read stories in the Bible? It has never been enough. We need a little bit more wisdom beyond right and wrong. Just because you did the right thing does not guarantee you the results you're looking for. That's the point. You're right, MOP. Don't just show up without calling a week or more. It could have been, if you feel the need to ambush them, then the relationship was wrong in the first place, and you should be prepared that they might not welcome you. I know that's counterintuitive, but that's just literally how it works. Anytime you do ambush, or they will say, okay, they do it with marriage too. You ambush the wife because the wife said you don't want to do anymore. You call the whole family on her. Now she resents even more. And you're like, but they're trying to do the right thing. I know, but that's not enough. You got to apply some emotional intelligence. You got to think beyond what you want to happen. What about the emotions of the people you're trying to influence, not control? Influence, right? So sometimes the next best step is back off. Back off, take some time off, allow patience, allow God to do the magic for you, and just work on yourself so you're well prepared when the right opportunity presents itself. If it ever presents, there's no guarantee it might never present itself ever again, because remember, there's a chance you don't really have a relationship with these children, grown children, sounds like, so that's the thing. Yeah, it's a tough one, tough call, but let's see. But Ben says, my advice, if your kids don't want you after divorce, bro, face your new family. You don't need that extra stress. Let the kids live their lives as they deem fit. It's not that simple. You went to the other opposite. It's not that simple. It's never that simple, but Ben, you can't. You're right. When you said this one right here, a man can't do the right thing. This is why some dad choose. No, not that one. Where's the one? Where's the one before that? Like, okay, I get something you said about you can't. A dad can never do that one. All of it.
You're right.
The point is that it's not that simple, okay? Because it's not about right and wrong, okay? The best thing for the dad or a person who is looking to woo a person back, you're looking to get a marriage back, an ex back, a wife back, a husband back, is to back off, not so you can spite them. You back off because you're acknowledging that you clearly did not have the relationship that you thought you had, right? And go work on yourself, whatever that means. Talk to a pastor, a therapy, a wise counselor, talk to somebody, okay? Because there's something you can't see, obviously, and most likely there's going to be someone that can see that. And they were like, you know what? They just hurt because you haven't been around. They just hurt because of this. They just hurt. Okay. They're not saying it's your fault. They're just saying, hey, give it some space. In that meantime, what are you doing? Right? Because if you're giving them space so you can spite them, so you can show them like Brian McKnight, you might lose business because you can't hide it. Eventually, that bitter thing that you will show up in the form of calling your kids product of sin and evil on the internet, and then you will hurt yourself in the process. So throw your hands in the air and say, okay, I don't want to do it anymore anyway. That doesn't work either. You will hurt yourself in the process. And this has nothing to do with that. Either you're a woman or man, or dad or father or mother. If you throw your hands in the air and just leave it in the hands of fate, well, the devil is going to take control for you. Okay? And most likely you're going to hurt yourself. Okay? So having you back off of a particular person that doesn't want anything to do with you means re-engage yourself. You've lost yourself. Re-engage yourself. Take care of yourself. Start with your mental health. Take care of yourself. This is the Prestige family. It's never about flipping to one side or the other. All right? It's about making sure that you yourself, you're wholesome and you're good enough, you're self-sustainable for a lifetime all by yourself. That's what shows up as confidence later on, that other people want to be a part of it. That's how it works. That's how it worked in the beginning. That's how it will work later on. Okay? So I hope somebody really gets some word out of that, because things are happening. Things are happening and people are confused everywhere for this very reason. Because they're like, wait, I tried to do the right thing, but wait, I backed off and they're still mad at me. I know, it's not that simple. That's why we ask you to seek wise counsel. Okay? All right, so do me a favor, hit the like button. That was a very sad story to actually watch, but I wish them the best, because that can happen to any family. It might not show up in the form of fame and fortune that he has, but it can happen to anybody. So do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications, and if you're watching this on replay, please leave your comments. Let me know what your thoughts are, and I'll see you in a few seconds.
It's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Me love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.
All right, let's talk about trigger alert. This is why feminism might ruin your son's life. Let's talk about that real quick, because this topic right here, I know it might be triggering, and I want to make sure that I apply as much empathy as possible, because I am not a single dad or a single mom or a single parent. I am none of that. I almost became one. But when I almost became one of the because I've always been this guy, okay, but when it's my own relationship, it's difficult because I'm inside of it, right? Sometimes you have to be outside of the forest to see what's going on inside, okay? That's why I tell everybody, just because you don't know, is this stuff we have to study from a professional standpoint. And so it takes being objective, it takes studying, it takes being open-minded, it takes continuous education to be able to share some of this stuff that I share. And it takes, above all, it takes patience, because sometimes it takes people to really get a grasp of what we're talking about. I tell you when it's very quick for them to grasp it, when they hit rock bottom. When they hit rock bottom, when they hit hard, then they want to hear, they want to, that's when people want to. And I always tell people, don't wait until you hit rock bottom. You can just make now the rock bottom. If what you're doing is not working, or you're not sure, or you're not confident about what you're doing, maybe this is a good time to re-engage and continue to learn. But yeah, let's talk about wait, how is that even possible? Like feminism is such a good thing. Why would it ever ruin anybody's life? Like, what are you talking about, right? First of all, anything can destroy anybody. Even water, as sweet and as innocent as water is, you drink too much of it, it can hurt you. At least you can feel bloated if you drink too much of it, right? So anything can, and any good solution in life can also create, any good solution in life will create new set of problems. That's just how life works, okay? Because this whole thing is a moving target, it's a moving variable, it's a moving target, okay? So what was a good solution yesterday might end up not being a good solution today, because we're evolving, we're always evolving, right? And also there's always something that we thought was a good solution, somebody has turned it to weary, and then somebody's going to take that weary to the next level, right? And while you are like, oh, this is a good thing, you don't realize that, hey, it's at that level already. It's time to pivot, it's time to adjust, it's time to adapt. Are we getting the results that we're looking for? If we're not confident about that, then we should always continue to study. That's why I always talk about continuous education, okay? So feminism is basically about equality for all genders, okay? There's obviously issues that has to do with social, just everybody being equal, having equal access. There's also economy reasons why there's, naturally, if you don't overthink it, you should advocate for feminism, right? Political reasons, political equality between men and women. And that's if you asked me a few years ago, I would confidently say I'm a feminist, okay, without necessarily understanding the intricacies or how far people have taken it, or knowing how the loudest people about feminism on the internet, actually how they move, right? I would just, because why not? Why not equality for all genders, right? So, but so the original idea was to fight against gender-based inequality. That's the original agenda, right? But it's gone beyond that, so we have to pay attention. Okay, it's gone beyond that. Like any other ideology, it can only go so far. There's something called the law of diminishing returns. Anybody know what law of diminishing returns is? Anybody know what law of diminishing returns are? Let me see. I didn't know, but Ben had Chidima had the last statement here. Got you, but no need for a divorced man to try forced relationship. No, he needs to work on himself. That's the key point. He needs to work on himself. He's created directly or indirectly the results he doesn't like. He's the one talking. He needs to work on himself. It depends on what you mean by force. Like Allah said, you do not ambush them, but I feel we should safely make efforts at having a relationship with our kids. Yes. The key is, while you're making that effort, make sure that you actually also put in effort in making sure you effect the result you're looking for. Just because you make effort is not good enough. You also want to make sure it lands. So it's like communication. Just because you're talking doesn't mean you're communicating. You want to make sure that the other person is receiving it. That's part of your responsibility as a communicator, right? Active listening. That's all we're saying. So, like I said, it's counterintuitive, but this is also related to that. So feminism is supposed to be a good thing, right? But it depends. It depends on how it's applied. Like any other ideology, Christianity, religion, any of this ideology or ideas, it all depends on how you apply them. I hope that's making sense already, right? So beyond equality, there are roles, there are stereotypes, there's even sexuality, right? There's personal relationships, there's personal romantic relationships, and people, it's now no longer just about social justice, equality, economic equality is no longer just about that, or political economy. We have people bringing that into traditional settings, traditional hierarchies, right? Hierarchical structures that we all benefit from today for specific reasons, right? We have people bringing it into that. We also have people also turning it to some kind of anti-men rhetoric belief system. They literally say this out loud. Okay, you might hear things like, oh, men benefit from marriage more than women. While they might be able to make some case for that, anybody who is really actively engaged with that kind of topic, there's a reason. And those are the kind of things we need to watch out for. Okay, there's a young lady on Twitter, Oloni. Her name is Oloni. That's actually one of my auntie's name. She will be the second person I know that has that name. And it's kind of weird, but and she was a big advocate for feminism and pushed a lot of very toxic rhetoric on Twitter for years. Became very popular. She has huge followership on Twitter. Let me even see if I can find her real quick so I can show you what I am talking about, right? One day like that, she just woke up and said she was now engaged, and everybody was like, wait, what do you mean? This is Oloni right here. That's Oloni. Okay, oh sorry, let me show you. That's her right there. Okay, and this is her Twitter page right here. Dating. So now suddenly she's a dating expert. Okay, lover of pop culture. So now she's advocating for love, dating expert. Okay, at one point it was all about feminism and she was going hard, and she had a lot of followers that were literally pushing a lot of the negative rhetoric around feminism. Okay, so again, things like when people start saying things like anything that sounds like anti-men, anything that sounds like all men should buy. Yes, they do say that on this internet street. So I know none of my followers are like that, of course, but sometimes we internalize certain things and we don't know when if you listen to something long enough, it starts to sip in start to sip into your soul, into your spirit, into your way of life, to a point that you might not be paying attention. Okay, so before now, anyone can literally be a feminist as long as you believe in equal rights for all genders. But because of some of the loudest noise that we've seen in recent times, okay, we have to be careful. Okay, particularly when it comes to raising our children. So today it's not just about raising sons, it's about raising our children. Okay, it's about raising our children. What does it mean to be objective? Being objective means you can remove your own personal experiences from your outlook on life. That's almost impossible. Okay, that's almost impossible. We all project from our own place of understanding and things like that, you know, but some of us are better than others, some of us are worse than others when it comes to these things. But you know, I'm trying my best to again apply empathy here. When you are left with children to raise all by yourself, this is usually mothers, okay, partly because of the fact that our world is gendered. The reality of the world we live in is they come in twos. Nigeria, Yoruba people say meji meji lolonda ile aye. The God created everything in twos, double, one side the other, two eyes, two nostrils. You know, everything is like symmetric in what or attempts to be symmetric. Is that the word? Symmetric, right? And it either attempts to be symmetric or it is symmetric. That's just how life is. That's just the reality about life. And the beauty about that is that you can see that as a negative or you can see that as they complement each other. It's either the glass is half glass full or half glass empty. It's really just based on your perspective in life. So either way, whichever side you fall in that category, not the side of the male or female, the side of see it as half glass empty or see it as half glass full. See, that's another side, another dimensional side, right? Either way you'll be right. Either way you'll be right. Because why? The universe will agree with you.
You're right.
You will recreate your outlook on life, you know. Let me see. Chidima says, if feminism equals to strong, independent, aka I don't need a man, and it means bashing men, then I'm out. T for thanks. Yes, most of you ladies that follow us here, that you're part of Prestige family, I naturally know that you're that person. Okay, that you're not going to just fall into feminism just anyhow and just be talking at anybody. This is how far they take it. If you smell like a pick me, you're part of the enemies too. Okay, so it's not even just men that they attack. If you're a pick me or you're married, you're the same. Okay, so that's how bad it gets, you know. But like I was saying, there's some little small poisons that I want us to talk about today. Yes, what some cultures call yin and yang. Yes, this is just how life is. Okay, and I think it just means we whenever we see that or we perceive life that way, just see it as it complements each other. It's best to see that way, because honestly you're not going to change that, you know. So now in terms of so mostly single parents are mostly single moms, right? And there are some single dads out there, you know, but because it's not somewhat of it's not something that someone can look at as epidemic, right? It's just what it is. Maybe the wife is sick or the wife passed away, or she just left her kids. That happens every now and then too, but it's not just common, right? Most situation is that the children are with the mothers, right? So we have a lot of single mothers, right? And I am also compelled to call them heroes, because circumstantial reasons you find yourself in this situation, you have to carry that cross. And most single mothers that I know carry it with grace, and they carry it very well. So the issues I'm going to talk about today are things that might end up that are in a blind spot, right? They're not your intentions. They're not your personal intentions, obviously, not to hurt your kids. In fact, many of these things, you're doing it from a standpoint of you need to protect your kids, right? So I'm very aware of that, and more so also because I have my wife here, and there are certain times that she moves in which she wants to protect the kids, and I'm like, yeah, thanks, me too, I'm protecting, but this is how we're gonna do it. All right, so it is what it is. So feminism can influence how single mothers raise their sons in a few positive ways. So let's first of all talk about the positive things, right? Obviously, there are certain gender stereotypes that might have been hurtful, you know, and then it challenges it. It doesn't change it. It's not, if you're trying to change it, you're not doing yourself a favor, okay? Because you're not acknowledging what is. You're just trying to pretend that it's not what it's supposed to be, and you're just flipping it. And oftentimes you'll be coming from your own experience. You're projecting your own experience on your kids in that way. So these feminist ideals can lead a mom to project limiting ideas of masculinity. There is masculinity. Masculinity is a beautiful thing. Again, when you think of it as it complements, femininity, right, in our world, right? It's needed. It protects. It's structure. It's order, right? It's rigid. It's repetitive, boring, but protection. Build the structures of civilization as we know it, right? Even emotionally speaking, but we're learning that now that it's needed. That wasn't always a requirement, but it's becoming a requirement. Like now, masculinity needs to engage its emotional intelligence in order to stay relevant. Okay, so that's some of the stuff that we're dealing with. So it can challenge gender stereotypes that might be harmful for us, but you know, there's and that's a good thing. Like, for example, you can teach your sons to explore emotions, interest, and activities that might traditionally be called, that you might traditionally call feminine, right? Things like expressing your feelings, and you might say express your feelings openly. I might be like, no. As a man, I'm like, no. What do you mean openly? Like, okay, tell me what you mean by openly. Like, cry out to the public like Tyrese and McKnight? No, slow down, right? So when you say openly, you mean well, right? You mean well, but oftentimes you're talking to a son. So your son will internalize what you just said, but you have no idea that your son is still looking at other male figures in society, and it can not always, it can create a sense of confusion. Okay, it can create a sense of confusion. So while it's okay that you can encourage your son to also engage in dance and art and things that will be considered feminine traditionally, there's certain nuances there that even men don't know how to teach, but they show it. Because as children learn from examples and experience more so than they learn from what you tell them, right? So the experience and the example they are seeing, and when you compare it to the society at large, it can create a great level of confusion. So challenges gender stereotypes on the surface is supposed to be a good thing, but there are some nuances there that we should continue to talk about. Okay. So what about the raising strong and independent men? That's a good idea, right? Because the feminist ideal also teaches that just raise kids to be independent, just like independent women and all this kind of stuff. But to what extent does this become a toxic thing? Because at the end of the day, the reality is that we are all interdependent, even men, yes. Well, like I teach men nuances. I teach men that you need to be sure of yourself. You need to be self-sustainable. You need to show up as you're self-sustainable so that nobody can take advantage of you and think you're a punk, because they will. Okay. But with that being said, I'm like, oh, but so I could just be like, no, you are interdependent. You're a social, emotional being. You will need other people. Okay, to carry that weight you call life, you will need other people. You will leverage other people. That's the reality of life. So the feminist ideal is independent women and no men, all that kind of stuff. That instantly falls on his face, because even men cannot move mad like that, right? So imagine raising a son and not having and not being previewed and not paying attention to some of these nuances. Then you might find yourself in a situation where feminism can ruin your son's love life. All right. So raising strong, independent men, positive, but what about the nuances, right? Another one, shared responsibilities. This is big when it comes to finances, chores, in the house and things like that, yes, on the surface, sounds cool. You can teach them. They can also participate in what might be considered, like things like cooking that's supposed to be men and all this that's supposed to be for women. Now sons can learn this kind of things and stuff like that. I hear this all the time. And yes, it's a positive thing by default to teach your kids to be able to take care of themselves, cook, clean after themselves. Okay, these are literally valuable life skills regardless. All right, so it challenges the idea that housework is solely a woman's domain. All right, now there are some issues there. There's some, again, as usual, there are some nuances. A lot of that has to do with individual values. We're talking about society level, we're talking about individual, macro, micro, right? And these are some of the issues that's been creating, like all the kids in the dating scene right now, those in the early 20s, late teens, early 20s, even up to like early 30s, are confused in this respect. Like, do you want me to open the door for you, or you don't want me to open the door for you? You're supposed to be independent, now you're fighting for me to open the door for you. Chivalry is dead. Wait, you want chivalry? Wait, I'm confused. Are you a feminist or you want chivalry? Choose one, right? Okay, now I would call them lame, right? But hey, welcome to the world of Gen Zs. Right? But they are literally confused like that. So we need to start paying attention. Okay? So let's clear this up. Not all single moms explicitly identify as feminists. Okay? But there's certain experiences that make you yield more in the direction of certain talking points, rhetorics on the internet, that I feel like, okay, they just fix the issues on the surface level. They fix the issues from a right and wrong standpoint, and not from understanding the full nuances that might have created a breakdown in communication in a previous relationship. We don't pay attention to those things. So, for example, a man said, well, she cannot be a good wife if she can't cook. I'm like, don't fall in love with a girl that cannot cook. It's really that simple. Well, is it that simple? I just used the word "is that simple." That just confused the shit out of them. It's not that simple. The reality, this nuances goes deeper than whatever I'm saying at that point in time. But I'm not their parent either, right? So, but these are the conversations we need to keep having. We need to keep having them. Ultimately, whatever we choose to teach our kids should be priority based off of the child's or their future life's well-being. That's where we need to come from. That's the angle we need to come from. Okay. Oftentimes we project what our own ideals are, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. I just think that also has a massive blind spot. If you're not self-aware enough or educated enough to know that the world we live in is always evolving, and prepare your kids that they might not end up in the same world we're in, that's a big problem. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to deal with that additional layers of just because you are the way you are. Okay, the world we live in is literally evolving, right? So there are some core principles that you can teach them. For the most part, they will learn from the example you present. Okay, that's why you have kids nowadays who say, but that's not what you did yesterday. About 40 years ago, you dare not say that. You get smacked upside down your face, right? But these days they'll call you out on the bullshit immediately. They're like, wait, you're inconsistent. If you're lucky, they'll say that. If you're unlucky, you're losing credibility silently, right? And then you end up in a place where Tyrese was giving the example early on. They'll be like, why can't I go out? When you say you can't go out tonight. If I tell my son that he wants to step out with his kids, I say, baby, you can't go out. It's like, why not? He will look at me and say, why not? Like, this is why, like, then he will understand. It won't be the first time we're having that conversation. He might even be sad because he really wanted to hang out with his friend, but it would not be the first time I'm having that conversation with him. Not at that spot. We've had similar conversations. We have some core principles, and they've also seen me move in that way. Is it perfect? No, it's just better. That's all. Okay. So focusing on the child is really, really key in all of this. Okay. Now the part that that is really big blind spot that I think the progressive ideals, feminist ideals are not paying attention to is the balance, what we call balance. Okay, balance. Now, when we say balance, oftentimes some people mean balance the genders or balance the two sides of the stories, and I'm like, no, that's not balance. That's just the easy part. That's just easy. That's easy. Like, I can speak to you, like, okay, so that you don't feel sad. You need to come here so that you don't feel sad. If that's what you want, we can do that. Everybody can do that. That's not what we're talking about. When I say balance, I'm saying first step is identify all of the factors involved. Identify all of the factors before you can come at me with balance or the ideals of equity or equality. Have you identified all the variables? Do you know what they call emotional labor on a woman? They say it's not the same emotional labor that a woman has that a man has. Just period. It's two different things. So if you don't factor that in when you're calling for balance and fairness, instantly your idea of balance is straight in the poto, because it's while you're trying to be fair, the other person thinks you're being unfair, and then you're locked in a communication breakdown. So now it just seems like the other person is being evil. So you jump on the internet and you call a whole set of group of people evil, right? So like I always said, it's not always that simple. So there's a three major thing here that I wanted to that's really big inside of the that I think we should talk about. Let me see what am I missing here. Let me just come to the chat for a quick second. Brother Ben says, me when I hear feminism, why are you running? Brother Ben, why are you running? Kilo day, what? Why are you running? Anyway, don't run. It's a conversation we need to have, you know. Thanks a lot for speaking to us single moms as heroes. I receive it, but yes, I want to hear the blind spot because I'm here to learn. Awesome. Yeah, I got 3 big blind spots that I just want us to talk about, and I'll give you potential solutions, not absolute solutions, but something that we can look at, because we have to keep studying it too, because my world, I have to take responsibility for this. Just like Ricky Smiley said earlier on, our world is full of single moms that are literally trying to carry a big responsibility that's supposed to be 2 people. It makes no sense to come from an angle of shaming. Zero. I don't care how much you try to make sense out of it, it doesn't make any sense. And they're not gonna listen to you anyway. Okay, because clearly they don't feel like they're in the wrong, and you're just making it worse by talking that way. What we need to talk about is how, because they're gonna have children in our same society, and we want to make sure that those children are part of a better society than ours, just like as much as our children, right? Yoruba people say, like if you are the only one that say, oh, perfect world, and you're raising your kids in 2-parent household, but the other one, that's just how you move. It shows in the way you move. You're probably, that your 2-parent house is going to become one soon too, but in the worst way, because of this is how you move, you know. So thank you so much for that, Chidima. I appreciate that. You can't leave this sisterhood yet. Come back here. Anyway, my sisterhood is not your sisterhood. Leave me, I beg you. My son hugging me when I pick him from school is a way to express emotions openly. He is showing he missed me. Yes, that's definitely emotions. Definitely. This is why I said the nuances, right? Yes, so we are interdependent. God said it is not good for a man to be alone, and anthropologists tell us we are social animals. Precisely, exactly. Bro, you just mentioned core principles. Yes, there are core principles. Yeah, there are core principles, and I also added that they learn them more so from your behavior. If you jackpa, that is a behavior. Okay, you cannot come at me that your child must marry a black person like you. Stop the cap. Okay, you jackpot, you should expect that anything is possible. Okay, is what it is. Yeah, like there are core principles, but they show more in your behavior, not what you say. A lot of time when people say they have core principles when they are teaching it, it's not what they live. You know, most of the times. Okay, your core principles shows in how you live, in your behavior, and your kids are observing it unintentionally. It's just what they see growing up. Like that's all they know. So they're going to either push hard against that or do exactly what you do. It depends on what kind of child you have, you know. So yes, I did. Core principles. Let's see, let's keep going here. So the three big spots that I want to mention real quick, particularly for single moms, okay, but also for all of us. This all right, I'm back. My internet is acting up today. Pardon me. Everybody help me give Xfinity 2 fingers. My internet is acting up. I just saw everything just blanked out. But I think it's probably issue across the board. Probably on our block. But we're back. Can you guys hear me? Let me know you can hear me. And if you can remind me of the last thing I said too, that would be nice. Okay, yes, I was saying, can you guys let me know that you can hear me first before I move forward? I'm still frozen. Okay, I think I'm back, right? Am I back? Am I back? Am I back? Yes, yes, yes. Yes, okay, thank you, Chidima. So I was saying this is for two people. If you're a single mom, yes, it's for you. If you're a single dad and your children are with your ex, this is particularly for you. And if you are a man, a brother, you have your household together, you're doing well with your family, this is for you too. We need you. This is our society. We need you. All right, so please pay attention. Okay, these are some of the blind spots. Okay, lack of male role model. All three of us need to take responsibility for that. Okay, so while feminism encourages breaking stereotypes, some single moms might worry, hopefully not worry, because I don't like anything that's coming from a place of fear. I'd rather you just be intentional. Just know that it's a thing. But this is a thing about their sons not having a strong male role model in the house. This is easy if we're aware. Okay, if you're educated, you're aware. It's super simple, easy. All you have to do is find positive role models, positive male mentors in extended families, okay, in friends, community programs. You need to seek this. They're not usually loud enough for you to hear them automatically. You need to seek this and just have your children in such programs. Sometimes it's as simple as a karate class, you know, on a regular from time to time, you know. But like I said, children learn more from watching and the examples and the experience, and they are learning the nurturing part of our progressive life as we're moving forward. But when it comes to this angle of a male structure order, that's not to say women don't have order, but when it comes to romantic relationships in particular, there's a certain way that we move, and we're expected to move as part of our social construct. We can't just pretend that doesn't exist anymore, right? What we need to teach them is more nuanced stance on some of these things. Okay, so for example, if you are teaching your boys how to clean after themselves and cook and clean, you cannot afford to miss the part that may not be enough to sustain a romantic relationship. Okay? Ultimately, they are going to be expected to set the emotional tone in the family, because the woman will build a home with it. And that's gonna be a thing that will have to happen in a certain order. It's not simultaneous, right? So the feminist ideal say simultaneous, everybody is just shared responsibility. While that's not what you mean, sometimes there's certain personalities that interpret it exactly like that. If you're not showing up, me too, I won't show up. But the reality is that as men, especially as we're moving forward in our society, we carry a lot of seeds. We sow seeds. And then there's a season of nurturing that you can help us a lot with. That's why even traditionally, a lot of wives and children will follow the man of the house, the king, to the farm to help nurture. And there is a general understanding, there's a season that you have to wait for before you get to harvest, right? But this relationship nowadays, they just want to fall out of the skies into a ready-made relationship. It will never happen. It's not a curse. Okay, it's never happen. So if you teach this feminist ideal, especially from a lack of nuanced place, it's very easy. You might even miss it. You're like, yes, because she's supposed to too, because I show up 100%, she's supposed to. This attitude can actually be very problematic, because sometimes in life you show up first. Okay. Now, it's easy when you're in love, when your son is in love in the future and they're in love with another person with the feminist idea, it's easy. But when there's damages, because they will inevitably create some kind of damage, because that's just what it is, right? Romantic relationship, they end up in basbos when there's crisis, right? They will be busy expecting we both show up equally, when in reality, there will be differences, okay? There will be differences, right? And they won't be able to understand what that looks like. It will just look like a complete kick against what you taught them, which is everybody should carry their own weight, independent. That's not reality. We're all independent. You should be teaching them from a place of what is your strength and what's your weakness. You find somebody who has strength and weaknesses, you're able to cover them, you cover each other. These are some of the nuances that will be missed. Okay, so instead of focusing on independence, that's the second big blind spot. Focus on interdependence. Okay, interdependence already has independence embedded in that. That means another person might need to depend on you sometimes. Okay, now if you are a man in our society, there's certain weight you're expected to carry to lead the pack. You're expected to be a leader. You will benefit from it. Okay, it's a matter of seasons. There's a time where you get to harvest, meaning you get more than you actually sowed. But you can't afford to have children who go into a romantic relationship expecting equality in this respect, because you never had the conversation. After all, everybody's supposed to show up equally at all times. That's not reality. Could it work? All right, so that's that. So too much emphasis on female independence can lead your son to believe that men shouldn't show vulnerability, okay, or need help. We know that that's not going to work out fine too. It's okay for men to be vulnerable, but they need the correct understanding of vulnerability from a man's standpoint. Again, yielding back to the first one, a male role model will be able to showcase what it looks like to be able to sit around and talk, hug, kiss a wife, be smooshy, but also be able to protect the whole pack when it's time to do that. You know, there's a balance that's needed there. See, I just used the word balance, but with respect to that role. So we're not going to eliminate gender roles. There's more so an evolution going on, not elimination. And I don't think there will ever be elimination, because that's not biologically feasible anyway. Okay, so we can actively seek equity, of course, but equity, or the difference between equity and equality is factors in all these different variables that if you're just coming from a pragmatic standpoint, you can miss. But when you understand that emotions are a big part of what we're talking about, then we need to pay attention. Like, for example, I've been telling all the men that, listen, disconnect from emotions is not going to work for you. Okay, not in this time and age. So you might need to catch up to speed or lose your wife to the divorce court or lose your family before you get it. But you need to pay attention to that. So you're no longer needed to protect and provide financially, necessarily, or security around the house. You don't have to go and fight a demon outside, a lion. But emotionally, you're still expected to do that. First, as in not equally, not simultaneously. First. So if you're able to teach your sons, either you're a single dad, single mom, you can teach them these nuances, then you'll be fine. Okay, you don't need to sit them down and start having conversation they don't understand right now. But when there's crisis, when they are upset, when they are crying, these are opportunities to showcase, hey, why are you crying? Are you able to do that? Maybe not. Naturally, you want to hug. Why are you crying? You might even start crying yourself. A man will be like, why are you crying? Oh, yeah, talk to me. Okay, clean your eyes. Talk to me. Clean your eyes first. Talk to me. What's going on? See, I can apply. I want to listen. At the same time, I don't want him to get too comfortable in just crying to express himself. Right? So, and it doesn't have to be exact like that. It depends on the personality of the child you have too. Right? So being in tune with all of that is something that might be considered feminine 30, 40 years ago, but a man needs to step that up now. Right? But still needs to, but because of the natural innate part of him that is a man, he's able to say, because it doesn't sit well with him already. So he's actually exercising self-control, but he's also saying, okay, I need to listen to my baby, but I need to also not just cordial him up like, hey, why are you crying? Okay, clean your eyes first. Go take care of that first. Okay, come. So what's up? All right, so this is how you handle that. There's a way a father or a father figure does that. There's a way that a typical mother handles that. And if you do enough of that during their childhood, that actually ends up becoming a thing in their life later on, okay? And they might not end up with their mother. Go figure. All right, so the last one, so the first one is lack of male role model, okay? So we're all going to take responsibility for that. In your every little capacity, you have a friend who's a single mother or anything like that, you're open. If you're close enough, you're open for them to come and spend a little time with your own kids, sit around, eat dinner together, and sow some seeds into this kid's life. You know, girl child also need the same thing. They also need male. They need the balance, okay? They need to see these different perspectives, okay? This is why so it's still very true that it takes a village. To a large extent, it's still very, very true. Unless you live in New York, of course. I'm just kidding. Shut up. I'm throwing stones at New Yorkers. But anyway, the second one is focus on interdependence as opposed to independence, okay? Highlight it. We're in the world that they're going to hear more about independence anyway. So highlight interdependence and why it is very, very important. The third one is unrealistic expectations of women. Okay, if you raise your son with feminist ideals, they can potentially have unrealistic expectations of women. Okay, all right. Very, very important. If you raise them with strong, I call it strong can creep up on you. You might just be like, no, I'm just a regular feminist. And you might not. The strong thing can creep up on you. The reality is that we're in a feminist world. We do want there to be gender equality across the board. When it comes to social economy, but even in the family, okay? But we need to add some nuances to that, because some of these quote-unquote gender roles is what make one side of the gender feel more fulfilled than the other, okay? Or not than the other. Like each side feel more fulfilled. It's just the reality. Like you feel like some people feel like a lady when they're able to cater to their men, right? Some people feel like a man when they feel needed by their girl. These are part of who we are. It's in our DNA, right? But we question all of that when we enter crisis, right? Especially women will question all of that. You're looking down on me. What a man can do, a woman can even do better. That conversation does not, and a healthy relationship, romantic relationship, they don't go together. You can't see it. You barely will find a person. I doubt if you find a person in a healthy romantic relationship saying such words. It's not their reality, right? So now, if you don't care for that, then do you. But if you can't put those two things together, right? And a lot of people are actively trying to put that together. So anyway, like I was saying, so those are the three major blind spots there. Lack of male role model, right? Focus on interdependence and balances with independence. Independence, self-sustainability is good, particularly so they can have things to offer other people. Okay, so they can have enough to bring to the table to offer a person that they have romantic interest in the future. Helping them understand that sometimes you have to lead. If you are able to complain, then it's okay to lead your relationship out of a funk and stop waiting for equality. Most people that are in this equality pack, they just end up in glass-blows communication because they're always holding other people to this unrealistic high standards, and that's just not how life works, you know. So these are blind spots that I just wanted to think a little bit harder and think a little bit more around when we're handling crisis. When it comes to raising our children across the board, you know. But in this case, we're talking about sons because masculinity is still needed in our society, particularly when it comes to the application of emotional intelligence. Okay, masculinity is needed badly right now. Okay, we have too many people trying to operate in a feminine role, and that's chaotic. As beautiful as that sounds, that's a chaotic thing. Okay. We need people that can continue to be essence of structure, order, security, safety in our society. And, you know, so yeah. And the third one is unrealistic expectations of women. Women, when it comes to romantic relationships, incubators, they receive, they multiply, and then they reciprocate. You cannot lose sowing a seed into a woman's life. I'm not talking about bad women, for those that are stuck on the bad women in their lives. I'm talking about women, period. Okay, generally speaking, women are incubators. Okay, and not to objectify them, they are humans. I'm just saying, in the reality of when you sow a seed into a woman's life, they receive it, multiply it. Just look at every reality, and then they reciprocate. But if you are not patient and you're bringing that, oh, everybody should show up equally, you will shoot yourself on the legs. Gentlemen, I've been saying that forever, but I'm talking about raising sons right now. Please don't teach them that they must, you know, just be obsessed with what a woman brings to the table. Is a very quick way to shoot yourself on the legs as a man. Okay? Yeah. I think we've handled it. Let me come to the chat so we can round up. He's some more. Hello. All right. I just enrolled my children in martial arts. Awesome. Yep. Actually, I haven't done that. I've never done that, but I should do that. You know, I've always wanted to do that, but I could probably step up my game too. I have a question a lot, but after your 3 blind spots, because it may get answered as we go along. Oh yeah, give me the question. Please link so I can. Oh, link. Sorry about that. Let me drop the link. All right, let's do that. So now I understand that this is a very delicate thing, and you know, but that's why we're having the conversation. That's why we're having. Oh, let me see. Okay, this is that arguing consistently in your marriage. This is why. Oh, okay. I gotta clean that up. All right. Let's see. I dropped the link. All right, cool. Hey, Chindima, how far? How you doing?
Good evening, Ola. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Oh, wow. In real time today. Yay.
In real time. I knew you were going to say that.
You know me well now. Okay, so
Yes,
my
so.
question, the third thing you raised about, what did you call it? Not having unrealistic expectations of women, something like that.
Yes.
Yes,
That's the
kind
third
of.
one. Having unrealistic, you want to be careful not to teach them to
Right.
have unrealistic expectations of women.
That somewhat answered my question, but not fully. So I still want to ask it so you can give more flesh to the answer and like flesh it out. So
Okay.
my question is, I'm a single mom. I'm raising boys, right?
Mhm.
So they are seeing me in my masculine role, but I'm in my masculine role as a matter of survival, literally
Mhm.
because I don't have the choice. So I'm doing everything.
Mhm.
Now, how can I prevent them from when they get into a relationship mirroring this, mirroring
Mm.
now to the point where they don't allow a woman to? Bible says woman is your helpmeet. Give her avenues to actually help them, but want
Mhm.
to do everything. They
Mhm.
are now too masculine. It's not toxic. They're not being controlling or DV. They're
Right.
just too masculine that they don't even understand that. Hey, relax. Somebody's here to help you. She's your helpmate. They don't need.
Mhm.
They don't need to survive, but they don't
Yeah.
differentiate. I'm doing this as survival from this is the norm because this is what they see modeled to them for the most part. Fine, they
Right.
have male mentors. Fine, they have all these people, but at the end of the day, I'm their main role model. So how can I prevent that? That is one side. The question has two sides.
Okay.
The other side of the same question is, how do I prevent them from now expecting too much of a woman, expecting their wife generally to be me,
Yeah.
when that woman doesn't have to be me because again she's not in survival mode.
Right.
So
Right.
how do I prevent either or from happening?
So I think a major part of that, by default, you're probably doing your best, right?
Yeah.
Which is what we're talking about. It's like a gift and a curse. Like, hey, you're showing
Right.
up, doing all the responsibility, but then they're seeing a woman in masculine roles.
Right.
I want us to also be careful about that. What you're doing does not necessarily have to be masculine role. It could just be you're taking care of needed responsibilities, right? I don't like bringing the masculine and feminine thing into conversations if we're not talking about in effort to create sexual polarity.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
If it's a survival, it's survival. So what
Okay.
they're learning from you is survival. They should learn that.
Okay.
Now, it's good that we're now linking it to the expectations on their wife in the future.
Right.
Right?
Part
Because
of the topic you have, that's why I'm linking it.
that's the blind spot. That's a
Yeah.
massive blind spot,
Right.
So if you remember the other conversation about teaching them house chores and
Right,
stuff like
right.
that, that's pretty cool. I want us to think of it as what it is, which is life survival skills.
Yeah.
Not that suddenly they will be better for a woman, not necessarily
Mhm.
that they will be better for a woman. They might, like we're saying right now, actually have unrealistic expectation
Right.
of a woman. So the best way to do that is what I've spelled out, which is making sure that they are enrolled in things like martial arts, and also but particularly within the family circle. If you have extended family, people that they can familiarize themselves, their culture, even though they might be raised in America or in the Western world, there's a sense of culture. You want them to be able to see that, not teaching them in words. They need to see what it looks like from time to
Yeah.
time, whenever the opportunity presents itself. But the other opportunity is, like, let's say they get into a fight, or they're having, so randomly I would have scenario based conversations with my own boys, right?
Okay.
I just random. It'd be completely random, and they enjoy it every time I do it because they know this man. Because they know I'm a teacher, so they know I'll just come with my teaching again. But I always present it in a way that they are the one engaging me, not the other way around. I'm not teaching. We're having a conversation. So certain scenarios, that maybe we can come up with later on to just have them discuss. What if you find yourself in a situation with your wife? Your wife breaks down and you might even write like randomly and she start crying and you can't understand it. She's been crying for 3 hours. What would you do, right? So you want to pick on their response, and those are the
Right.
opportunities to teach that and say, actually, no, she's your lady. She's a lady.
Okay.
Right? And, she probably wants to feel safe. Do you understand what it means to feel safe? Why should she feel safe? A lot of why. Just asking deeper and deeper why. Just to get them digging a little bit further. But the key thing there is that just awareness. You want them to be aware that a man is different from a woman in the way they show up into a relationship where they feel safe. And if there's crisis, how would they handle such crisis without expecting that, well, my mother did this, first of all, they should never be comparing,
Right.
So, but you never know, because if that's their reality and they now see somebody that's seemingly weak in their eyes,
right, not measuring up, yeah.
And in a world where when you go everywhere, it's supposed to be equal, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I literally see 20-something-year-old men say, why can't she be an adult too? They say, be an adult, and then they put 2 behind it, and they're talking about a woman, right? And I'm like, Jesus, I'm scared for this man, because it's not that she's not an adult. It's just, it's irrelevant to what's going on, So those nuances will come in the form of examples and scenario-based conversations.
Okay.
Not generalized conversation. Either you say women are supposed to be equal to men, or you're saying men are supposed to be, all those are generalized topics. Let's bring it down to case by case examples.
Okay, so for example, that case Robin posted in the back room, right, in the chat, where you read it, right? How I responded to my son based on.
I read it. I'm going to try to scroll. It's probably so far back now. I'm trying to see if I can scroll back to it.
I can summarize for you.
Okay, summarize.
Summarize for you.
Yeah.
So one morning we woke up, I think 2 or 3 mornings ago, and I said, okay, be me, help me get your brother ready for school. His older brother, 13. My son is 11.
Okay.
So he made his breakfast, packed his school lunch, laid out his clothes, everything, his uniform, everything. While he was doing the last part, I heard him muttering, I'm so happy I'm going to be a dad when I grow up, so I don't have to do any of this.
Right.
That shook me.
I remember that now, yeah.
Part of the reason why it shook me is because just the day before or so, on Auntie B's show, we had seen a man that says, I cannot take my son to soccer because I'm being errand boy. So somehow my brain made
that person was a clown. Why are we bringing that?
I know, but somehow my brain just jumped like, hey, well, if my son is thinking like this, before you know it will progress to that level of thinking. So I don't know. I guess I panicked, because I just saw that if this isn't nipped in the bud and he interacts with people that think like this, over time he must start imbibing some of these thoughts, and it might go all the way to the extreme. So that's
the
why
word.
I'm like,
what you just said is what happened. The panic.
I panicked. I have to admit, I definitely panicked. So out of fear, I was like.
But what's the source? What is the source of that panic?
The absentee father. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the absentee father.
I'm being honest. He's not doing much. Yeah.
Right. So it's fear. It's fear, panic. Issues, your own personal experiences.
Yes. That's what that man said. Everything just came to my head like everything just jammed. You know how our brain is connected like wire. You know that thing, that video. How women's brain is. So that wiring was exploding in my head.
You connected to all these different things.
Everything, exactly.
Right. So that's what makes you a hero, because I can't imagine. That's one of the realities we're talking about. As a man, we drop that into a box and we don't connect with anything else.
No, I connected everything right away, and I was just like, hey, whoa, this young boy now, if you expect him to his wife. Imagine if he just get to a baby and he's feeling weak, he won't feel like he needs to do anything.
So the best thing to do in that case is always, first of all, you ask, what do you mean?
Okay.
Just asking what does it mean, so you can elaborate. Okay. Fear is one of the things we have to manage in relationships. Fear is part of life. We all have fear, right? So what we do with it is what matters. I get bombarded with fear too, but what I try not to do is act from a place of fear. because when you do, you just create more damages. And while your intentions were good, you're just trying to protect, like fear, like let's make it. You might just build a castle around yourself, and that thing can cave in on yourself, you know. So, and that's what we're trying to avoid. So always, just if you see anything like that triggers you in that way, because we're trying to engage the nuance. Another way to put that is engage the fear. You say, what do you mean? Right?
Okay, thank you. That's not what I did, but let me tell you what I did.
Yeah. What did you do?
So what I did was tell him, well, you guys sweep, you guys clean, you guys do this and do that at home, right? And there's none of these roles we do at home that are gendered. So what makes you think parental roles are gendered? Men can do everything for a child, literally minus breastfeeding. A woman can, I explain to them that a woman can pump the thing and put it in a bottle, and the man still gives the baby breast milk. He can clothe, bathe, feed, rock the baby to sleep, do everything. So please don't ever think that it's only a woman's role to do that.
Yeah,
anybody can do that. That's all. That's just what I said.
I like that. But here's the thing. Here's what I would have had it on to, not had it to them, but you need to be aware just in case it comes up in the future in a way, because that particular issue you addressed it and you isolated it and left it alone. That's perfect. But one thing you need to be aware of, and every woman or single mother listening to me need to be aware of, is in his own family in the future, that might be gendered.
It might be, right.
Yeah. And it might be what makes them happy. And they need to be okay with that.
That might be their own reality.
Yes.
They might be showing up in other ways.
Yes. So in case the woman says, get out of my kitchen, don't touch my soup, we don't want him to overreact. We need to understand, okay, that person is coming from just the nuances of that. We need him to understand that that's how she was raised. That's the woman you fell in love with. She said, no, leave the curtains of the house for me. I want to choose the color. He's not there fighting his woman over what the color of the curtains in the room is.
Okay.
You see, that's the blind spot right there. And the way it shows up in the future can be very, very dangerous if we're not aware of it, you know, particularly with the boys who are raising today. They have lower testosterone, right? They have biological reasons why they are more feminine. So we just want to prepare them for the best. We're not going to control everything. Just prepare them for more. We don't want to prepare them for this rigid equality thing. We want to prepare them for flexibility. That's
the word. That's the word. Yeah. To have, like, managing your expectations is another way of putting it, right?
Yep. If you want me to cook, I can cook. If you want me to get out of your kitchen, okay, my lady, I'll go and watch TV and rest. That's what we need to be doing. You know. Yeah. So
I'm glad I raised this because you've brought up so many different sides of it, including some of my own blind spots. Because I really am very intentional with how I'm raising my boys. Like,
I know, I could tell. This is what scares me, because I know you're being intentional. I know that it's coming from a good place. And I know that like everything else, like all the ideologies, that also has its downsides.
Right.
So flexibility, open communication, open-mindedness, with respect to knowing that we still live in a social construct. There are certain ways that things move. We don't just want to say, no, me, I'll do my thing like that. You collect later on, because you still have to deal with all these people, you know? Yeah. So I hope that helps.
Uncle Ben.
Berry. Yeah, I don't mind him.
Well, thank you so much, Ola, for answering my question.
Thank you so much for popping the question. It's a lot of people are going to find it helpful. Thank you. All right, talk soon. All right, so I think we should leave it at that. Shout out to Brother Ben, shout out to Chidima, shout out to, I think Natu showed up earlier on. A few people are watching behind the scenes. I know today it's kind of late, you know, but I appreciate all of you. Now hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you are notified whenever we go live. We'll be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. I think. We'll be back. Okay, I think we'll be back. Okay. All right, hopefully you've been enlightened, educated. We'll see you on the next one, and peace.
It's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One loving up, we done enough.